Ladies and gentlemen, Mollusk here, and for your optical ecstasy, I'm bringing you a video on how to paint Talos Tentacles. And when I say paint, I'm talking about getting your Talos tabletop, as in minimal effort, and looks okay from about 4 feet away if you squint. So I'm warning you right now, if you're out to win a golden demon, stop watching immediately. Go to art school or something. If you've got other things you want to do with your life, and you just want to put down a model without pride or embarrassment, maybe stick around. So, why tentacles, I'm sure you're asking? Of course, the answer is obvious. They look awesome, and they're the height of fashion in Komoro right now. However, you look at the work that you're probably going to have to put into one, and then look at how many there are, and you might find your gaze wandering over to the large, super easy to paint axe hand appendages, and you can be forgiven for coming to a particular decision about which one you're going to paint. But tentacles are just more classy. And this video is here to show that classy doesn't have to be a ball ache. Okay. First, you get the colour you're going to use as the base, or like as the dark bits. And you get a larger paintbrush. Doesn't need to be detailed. Get some of the paint off so it's nice and thin. And whack it all over your tentacle. All over. And the other side. So that you've got all the paint in the little gaps. Okay, so once that's dried, select the colour paint that you want the vertebra bits to be. Get the same manky old brush, and we're going to just dry brush. So, most of the paint off, and just lightly dust. Doesn't matter if you get it on the bits that are going to be metal, they're easy to paint over. Try to keep it one directional and light. Really don't need much paint for this. If you think you've got a little bit too much paint on the brush, you can use the end of the tentacles to thin out the paint a bit, and then go back to the vertebra. And do the other side. So yeah, painting in real time. Leave that layer to dry a bit, and just keep putting on new layers. So this is how things look after about 4 times with the dry brush. Don't worry if it looks a bit dim at first, just keep going over it with very light dry brushing and the colour will start to pick out. If you're having trouble getting to these bits by the metal bit of the spine, just turn the sprue as you're painting and running your brush along the spine will eventually get down into those little gaps. Okay, maybe you were a bit heavy-handed with the dry brush. I don't know if you can see, maybe it's gone on to some of the bits that you wanted darker. In which case, all you do is get your fine brush, get the darker paint, and just gently dab in between the gaps, neaten things up a little bit. I don't actually use washes because I'm not that good a painter and I can never get the consistency right. So I'm sure if you have a wash, you could use that to much greater effect to just neaten things up. And then I'd probably say go again with the dry brush and pick out all the white bits again. For the metal bits, all we're going to do is select the kind of the basic darker metal that we want. Get the fine brush and just dab all the little bits along the tube. And it doesn't matter if we get it on the claspy bits, these whiter claspy bits that get to the vertebra, because we're going to go over them later. So yeah, simple as. And once you've done all that base metal, in my case the silver, you select the colour you want to use for the, I don't know what they're called, the claspy bits. I'm using gold because I think it makes it pop quite nicely. Get the fine brush and go over all the gold bits. And this time you want to be a little bit careful not to go over any of the other colours, because no one likes to go over their paint and have to repaint stuff again. And just continue until you've done all of the claspy bits on the tentacle. When you're done, cut the tentacle off the sprue. Touch up any of the bits that were obstructed by the sprue, and then paint the top bits with whatever you've decided the top bit will be. In my case, I'm just using more of the lead belcher silver. And your tentacle is done. After all that's done, stick them together, and there you have it. Enough tentacles to fill the dreams of any pubescent teenager. Sticking them on your talus, and then you're rocking. Job is a good one.